Josh, enough is enough, and it's time for a change," said the late great Owen Hart. And I think that's where we've arrived with GGP.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. We've been feeling a little bit of the itch to change up the format a little bit.
Yeah, and we took that hiatus over the holidays, and then Inver and I came back. It was either like late January or very early February, and recorded an episode. And I think we were both feeling kind of the blahs about it, and that got me thinking even more about something that we had talked about last year, just like rebooting this, like refiguring our approach to how we're doing the podcast. Because we started this in August of 2021, and we were doing it very much in the traditional podcast model, right, where we're trying to do episodes that are 30 minutes to an hour, talking about a particular topic. And then we started experimenting a little more, having like news roundup episodes and things. We called them mongrel episodes a lot in the file names that we would send over to get edited. And just talking about editing, like we started out editing it ourselves, and then we had a contractor, and that really didn't work out. That was a huge mistake and waste of money on that person. And then we
To be
finally I was about to say,
oh,
and then we found somebody reliable.
right. I was about to say, like, to be clear, Scott super reliable.
Yeah,
The guy that we hired before Scott off of Craigslist, was it?
possibly.
Not terribly reliable.
No, it was a bad scene. It was a bad scene. But all that to say is we were just doing it kind of the way it's always been done and the way it needs to. It's you're supposed to do it. And my dad always used to tell me, like, be wary of things you're supposed to do, because sometimes that's societal programming trying to direct you in a certain way. But anyway, we've talked a lot about how we were trying to get the podcast more as like a video first thing, putting it on, like we specifically started recording video for it, and we were doing that kind of long before we made it a regular thing on YouTube to release it. And we started doing that, and looking at downloads of the regular audio, it's been sort of up and down over the years, and YouTube is actually like the largest podcast discovery platform in the world right now. And we've been putting our full episodes up there and everything. But you look at the metrics and you see that, like, a lot of the time people aren't on there to watch 60 minutes of, two, three people, however many, talk about A, B, or C. So we've decided to do a little bit of a shift in the way we're handling things. And I'll run through that really quickly. But basically, in terms of like, let's say regular episodes, and I'll put it in quotes, we're thinking, instead of doing bi-weekly, like 60-minute episodes, we're going to shoot for 4 short monthly video episodes that go up on YouTube. Or monthly, I mean weekly, with 4 per month, once per week, in the 8 to 10 to 15-minute range, which is kind of your sweet spot for that kind of thing. And that honestly also is great for us, because there are many times that we've been talking and we felt like we were kind of having to drag it out or figure out some other stuff. So we'll be doing that. We'll still be doing the deep dive videos on Patreon, and they can take a lot of different forms now, because originally when we conceived of those, we were like, well, they need to relate to the episode, after which they're released. And we really started playing fast and loose with that. And then even lately, I was like, does it have to? Does it really have to? Can we just not talk about some other stuff instead?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback we got from folks who are on the Patreon is we enjoy when you guys are excited about whatever you're talking about, and we can tell when you've just like grabbed a thing that relates to the episode, but that
Yeah.
you're not really passionate about it. And it's like, hey, you know what? Fair criticism. Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to give you the best possible content, and this is a move that makes us feel like we're better able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be able to really craft the deep dive content a little bit more. And the fact that the again, in quotes, regular episodes are these shorter videos, that also gives us a lot more flexibility too, to where if we want to review a book that came out, maybe instead of feeling like we have to get all of us together, read it or read part of it, and then then try to stretch it out to like a 45 to 60-minute discussion. We can instead do a really tight sort of mini-sode review, something that's really digestible, something that's like, I work in the content industry and we call it snackable content. And it'll let us experiment with deep dives too. Like, if we do an interview with somebody, maybe we take the highlight excerpts from that, and that becomes like one of our main video releases in a month. But then we have the full unedited that's hanging out on the Patreon as a deep dive video. And to help, and full disclosure, some of this too is just because our lives have changed. It is very difficult to run a podcast because, especially when you're like, our size, we're basically doing it kind of like a hobby, and you have to be the producer, and sometimes you have to be the editor, and you have to be the talent, and you have to like wrangle all kinds of tech for it and everything. There's a lot that goes into this, and bizarrely, creating more content, but shorter, better focused, better edited is actually going to be easier than what we were doing before. And some of that is because, we're building out monthly content plans. We're going to try to have everything be really thematic. So again, I work in the content industry, and one of my things is you have a hub and spoke content plan. Some people call it a flywheel, where you just have a core idea and everything sort of orbits off of that. But still going to be tabletop focused, largely, but we're planning it out a little bit better. We're going to be tying it in with Patreon releases beyond the deep dive, have other content to support this. But it's really going to make it a lot easier for me to work full time, do this, and parent my child that I have now.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about this, Josh? I know I dropped this in our Discord that the ownership is in and everything, and everybody was just like, what?
I mean, you had talked to me kind of at length while we were at MagFest about the possibility of being a little bit more YouTube focused. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I mean, yes, that makes a lot of sense industry wise, but I don't know, what is that going to look like for us? Like, are we going to be like trying to do Mr. Beast faces for the, like, and as we talked about it more, I was like, okay, this does make more sense for the way we are creating the content already.
Right. And to be clear, this is not a play for us to feel like we can hit it big if we do it on YouTube, because that's obviously not going to happen. This is going to be more fun for us. It's going to be easier for us. It's going to let us focus in on topics that we want more. Like, I've had like 2 or 3 like indie board games that I bought a couple years ago that have been sitting on my bookshelf out in the landing room outside of the office where I record. And I haven't had a platform for it, because we can't really do it on the podcast. But I can, probably after I get a chance to play it some more, shoot some B-roll and then put together a review video of like me talking about it, or me and you talking about it. I know it was something Alon was really interested in, so I could maybe rope him into it or something. But yeah, this just gives us so much more flexibility in what we're doing. And we've got sort of a loose content plan that takes us all the way up to like June. And I think y'all are going to be pleased with it. Like, especially the folks who have been here for a long time. I think you're really going to like what we've got, and we'll still be on the Discord. It'll be easier for you to leave comments on episodes, because we'll just be dropping everything on YouTube. And then also the audio from the YouTube episodes will still be coming out on the regular podcast feed. Probably will come out like later in the week rather than Mondays, but it'll still be there for you if that's how you want to consume it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited about this. Stay tuned, because you'll see some more information about what we're jumping on for March. That's really when we're going to be kicking off the plan. We wanted to take, the rest of February to just kind of make sure we had everything where we wanted it, figure out what our plan was. But we'll be announcing what the content theme for March is, and then that stuff will start coming out, I think, on the 2nd. I think the 2nd's a Monday.
That sounds right.
Yep. But thanks everybody for sticking with us over the years. And we hope this makes it not only easier for you to watch us, but also easier for you to telegraph, tell a friend about the Goblins and Growlers podcast, because, hey, now it's more episodes that are shorter. So you don't have to listen to all these long conversations. But also, please tell them to go download our library of 5 years of audio content, and we'll talk to you all later.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.